Hello, everyone. It is Robyn Linn, and I have a very special guest today. I'm not going to be doing my normal presentation with super slides. I'm going to be sharing with you a process with one of our students, Lennita. And Lennita is someone who has undergone massive struggle in her life as a child. And I'm going to have her share a little bit about her story with you as we go through the process. Today is not going to be an interview, however. We're going to go through a step-by-step process of me working with her. So you get to eavesdrop in on a live session. This isn't something that we do all the time to our bigger audiences. We have live sessions when we work with students like this in very small private groups, and a lot of the times one-on-one. And I thought, rather than just working with Lennita myself and having no one else listen into our branding and messaging conversation about me coaching her, guiding her, and mentoring her through this process as she's building out a crowdfunding campaign for her message, I thought it might be wonderful for all of you to listen in as well. So without further ado, I'm introducing you to Lennita. And before we get into the branding work here, just a few words, if you will, Lennita, a little bit about why you are choosing to do this crowdfunding video. What is it that you are here to create?
Thank you, Robyn. And firstly, I just want to thank you especially for this opportunity. I'm really so very grateful that I found your webinar a couple of months ago and that I'm getting to be part of this community. It's just absolutely incredible. So my why I'm doing this crowdfunding video is I won a position in Australia for the 7 States of Change competition, which is 7 social impact projects that are going to make a really big difference in Australia. So I got chosen as one of the winners. And there's a process with that we're doing. And one of those things is bringing together a crowdfunding video to pull together the funding to make my reality, my dream for my vision, a reality. So my vision is to create an online environment, but also to get into the school systems to create a community where young girls and women who have experienced trauma in their life, they feel safe, they feel connected, and most importantly, they feel unconditional love. As well as given all the tools and programs that they need and can think of where they can learn things like values and boundaries and really get into working through their trauma and finding things in their life, finding their purpose, and really encouraging hope in their lives. So that's really important to me because I've been through that in my life. I grew up in domestic violence. And I learnt a patterning and conditioning, and I chose partners like that in my life. And it was only 5 years ago that I was able to get out of that and start my healing process. So now I feel really ready to take my message to the world and to really help stop the cycle, and that's why I'm doing this.
So before we begin, a lot of times this is very helpful for those that I work with, and we haven't technically worked together on such a deep message, you and I, before. We've spoken briefly about your message and have had a good conversation to keep you moving forward. You've worked with Mike a bit, and
Yep.
I know that you are taking some of the coaching classes, right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay.
Which I found really incredible.
Oh,
Yep.
great. Yeah. So, because for those of you who don't know, we do have 3 schools. We have Coaching Cognition, School of Online Business, and Whole Life EDU. Part of what I'm doing here today with Lennita is Whole Life EDU stuff. The School of Online Business is what I'm going to be bringing in, part of the work that she's already done that allows us to go deeper in this branding work with her and her message. And then, of course, this essence and foundation of the tools that she mentioned. So Lennita brought in these values and boundaries to overcome trauma, to help people find their purpose, and to create, as you said, a safe environment for people to be able to overcome adversity in the now immediately, to help them rather than go through the traditional system, like I assume therapy, which could take years upon years if not helping people truly overcome, but really use coaching skills. So Lennita is going through our entire coursework and she's employing coaching skills. So some of what you're going to hear isn't just somebody who said, I want to build a business. What we actually do with our students, which you guys will listen into tonight, is allowing the women and young girls that Lennita will be speaking to and reaching with her strong message. The foundation of all of that will be based in coaching skills and connection skills, aside from her being able to express and explain her story in a compelling way, which will, of course, get these girls in a space of feeling safe and excited to work with this type of coursework and program, but also for Lennita to develop the skills to be able to approach schools and to be able to approach other types of institutions to actually satisfy these requirements. So does that sound good? Is that about right?
That is perfectly put.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
So
Yes.
I have in front of us what we're all looking at my screen, and I'm going to change my screen in a little bit. So for those of you who are listening, I suggest practicing along with us and grabbing a pad of paper and pen, not using your computer. If you're attending live and you're doing other things and you're trying to listen in while you're on Facebook or doing other tasks, I suggest maybe not doing that, either leaving the tasks you're doing and fully focusing here with me today, or tuning into the replay and listening in at another time when you're really able to truly focus. So before we begin, I'd like to take a deep breath, and you're going to hear Lennita and I do that here, and all of you listening are welcome to do that as well. So before we start, I'd like you to just find an upright position with your spine, and just relax your shoulders, relax your chest down a bit, and then I'd like you to feel a contraction in the center of your body in the core. And I want you to actually contract the core, if you will. And now, Lennita, I'd like you to lift your chest as you feel the contraction. Do you feel that?
Yes.
Nice. Now, while you're doing that, I still want your shoulders relaxed, and if possible, to your hands, we could put your hands in an upright position facing up in a receiving mode, and just relaxing the arms and the hands in the upright position, receiving the energy today. So we can now close our eyes, and we're going to take a really deep inhale through the nose, and then we're going to exhale sound HA through the mouth. Nice. This time I want to have you visualize the breath as you're inhaling, coming from the root of the spine as you stay with your body relaxed, coming out through your throat center. So the inhale comes all the way up and then out through the mouth. Nice. Beautiful, like a rolling wave. How does that feel?
Awesome.
So I'd like to maintain this connection that you're having now, this kind of the subtlety, so that what answers arise when I start asking you some powerful questions and coaching you, I'd like to maintain the subtlety as we're exploring the branding element. What will happen for a lot of people is we tend to get up into a headspace, especially when we work on what you're saying in the video. And rather than getting caught up in a script or what you're saying, I'm today focusing mostly on the energetic response that you're emitting, and what I call the emotive, the emotion of movement, what you're moving people to do and how you're moving them to feel. What we're working on today is that internal space with your voice. So a little bit of it may start to come into your head. If it does, I'll just remind you, oh, there's your headspace, and we'll come back. We'll come back.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay, good. So your video has progressed a bit since initially before you came into the school. And the video that I have here on my screen, I've watched it a few times, and there's a lot of key elements and points that are extremely powerful. And then there are some other points that that take me away from the connection of where you want me to go. So before I go into the questions of this specific message, and I'm going to come in and out of it with some other brand elements, including imagery in just a moment. But share with me who this video is for, because I have, of course, in your audience, there's two different audiences. There's the people that will be funding you, people who are interested in funding you, and then there's people who are interested in obviously taking upon the journey with you and doing these actual processes and programs with you, your actual people that you're going to be working with. So this video is specifically for people who want to fund your vision and may or may not be working with you on this vision itself.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and this particular video was just a draft that Mike and I discussed that I would do after I had some mentoring around crowdfunding from Start Some Good, in Australia.
Okay.
Through the 7 states. So it was just really to try and start my message,
Okay.
start somewhere.
Okay, great. Yep. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up our segment into 4 pieces, 4 parts of the whole, as if we were to break it up into chunks of a pie. So there's going to be 4 segments to the video. And my goal for you, maybe not by the end of tonight if we run out of time, but hopefully what you and I can accomplish is to not have it be so rigid of you feeling like you're reading off a script or memorizing something, but more where you're...
Sorry, Robyn.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost you that last little bit.
No worries.
Repeat that?
Sure.
Thank you.
So instead of you memorizing a script, what we're going to do is we're going to tune in to more of an outline perspective so that you're actually coming out without a script, so that you're coming more from an internal place, and so that whatever comes through is real engaging for you and for your audience.
That's perfect.
So before I go into that process, let's now describe as intimately as we can who potentially are people that will not want your message specifically. I know the women and young girls, but who are your potential fundraising people? Who are the people that we are speaking to? What are they like? Where do they live? What are their ages? What do they do?
Well, firstly, they've got compassion and empathy towards my cause. So they would want to know or be affiliated with the plight of, domestic violence, sexual abuse, eating disorders. So that can be man or woman. And I would think that somebody with some sort of money and different levels, like I've built in my rewards, I've worked out what I'm going to be giving now. So each level would be a different target market, but within the video I would be listing out all of those levels, so I need to appeal to them. So corporates also could be part of that, especially at the higher level where I actually will be gifting a portion of my business setup or the non-for-profit setup in a capacity that their contribution will relate to a percentage in the company, but it won't actually be money that they'll ever get back. It'll continue to be reinvested, so they'll get reports and things like that, and really be part of the whole journey. So somebody that's interested in watching this progress from where it is today to something that's going to be a legacy ongoing year and year after.
I think a big highlight here is what you mentioned, where they've undergone or experienced either themselves or maybe in their family some kind of
Yep.
issue here with domestic violence, sexual abuse, and as I'm familiar with, eating disorders. So
Yep.
these are three things that will want to use your voice in a way that will really speak clearly to these types of people who can resonate with this. So
Yes.
what I'd like to do is you've talked to me a little bit. Now I'm going to come back to the video thing in just a moment here, and I'm going to coach you through this. But what I want to do now is get you prepared for a photo shoot, because I know you are going to be doing that pretty soon. So before we talk about the video, what did you have in mind in terms of how you're presenting yourself in a photo shoot? Have you considered the imagery, the energy, and exactly what you'd like to really project with images?
To be honest, I really love your style of image, and I feel that that resonates with me, but with not the earth background. I would like water background, some sort of water behind me, because that's really where I get a lot of energy source from, and it's true to my nature. Other than that, I would like to do a professional profile picture as well. I think that's really important when I'm reaching out to those higher level donors, and just to have that image that I can put across all of my like LinkedIn profile and those more professional networks. So I see two areas that I need to cover: something more natural and engaging and true to my nature, and as well as that professional side that I need to portray as well.
So with the water element, I'm feeling a lot of flowing. So I assume maybe more flowing rather than fitted clothing, maybe more whites and pastel blues rather than dark colors.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you have a photographer yet that you have in mind?
I do have a photographer that I worked with over the last couple of years with another thing that I was doing, so I can definitely get him to come on board for that.
Okay. Now, what I'd like is next time, before you schedule anything with him, is to email me and him at the same time, and that way I can help coach him through this process so that we're getting what we need for also this crowdfunding, the essence of that, but also the branding and the Brand Me tool.
That's incredible. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I love being able to help coach photographers through this, and that's something that I've done a lot. I don't know if you know Nina, but she's someone that I helped coach with her photographer, and her photos turned out amazing. So I think we're gonna do really well with that, especially with the water energy, the flowing nature of you being there, and then also the professional images. Those are less difficult because it's more streamlined, and you should be able to find any kind of really clean outfit that feels helpful for you professionally, for you to be able to do that.
Yes.
I think that I would recommend in the water outdoors your hair down and natural,
Yep.
and in the professional maybe your hair up and or like half up away from your face.
Yep.
Just
Okay,
out
cool.
of my intuition and also professionalism, I think is really powerful to show off your face and your features and be really clean. I can see you with with the hair up in the professional images.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
So, do you have some paper in front of you?
Yes, I'm writing notes as we speak.
Okay. So now I'm going to keep in mind, and I'm going to probably keep coming back into compassion, empathy for these three issues: domestic violence, sexual abuse, and eating disorders. Now, in the video that we watched here, that people listening in, they didn't see, there is an element that you offered with quotes and facts of domestic violence and sexual abuse. Now, do you have those quotes in front of you?
Yes, just need to grab hold of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on a second. Yeah. Um, yes, I've got them right here.
Okay. Now, I see the one here. It says women 14 to 80 who have suffered trauma in areas of domestic violence, sexual abuse, rape, eating disorders, bullying as a child, continuing patterns as an adult. So that's kind of the audience that you're going to be offering these services to, right?
Yes, so the women 14 to 18, sorry, you're reading off my
Oh, the phase
Excel
word.
spreadsheet, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yep, okay, so I said to 80, didn't I? Not
80.
18? Yeah, okay. So for me, I've even had people in their 60s who are still feeling what I felt 5 years ago. So to be able to help any aged woman who's still stuck in that place and still has the trauma that they're living with and making choices and decisions based on not having healed that trauma. And then the girls who are going through it right now that don't have any support network at all and are just so lost and you know, I don't want them to go through what I've been through. If I can give them the tools and the community and the unconditional love that I never had,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to mean that they live their life and their purpose a lot earlier. And the whole idea is to bring everybody together and to remain together so that once these ladies and these girls go through their healing, that they can then offer support to the next people coming through.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So are you intending to certify or help coach other women that are going to be a part of this community, aside from you being the vessel of support?
Um, Now that the coaching is part of what I'm doing with the online school of business and the master program, it's definitely opened my mind to that possibility. But I am intending, and I've already got a couple of women in mind, but I see 7 women on my team,
Mm-hmm.
7 women leading, and one of those is a full qualified counsellor in this sort of area.
Okay,
So,
great.
and then I've got other experts in different areas covering all the topics that I want to pull together, all of the um, programs. Sorry.
And the programs themselves, are they going to be taught online where these girls and women are going to be able to come on and into a tribe where it's online, or are the programs taught live in Australia in an actual physical place?
It will be online.
Okay.
So basically what you and I are doing in a class environment, what we do with the coaching classes,
Mm-hmm.
so there'll be interaction, but there'll also be products that they can do in their own without that interaction. So I want to have a few different options so that, you know, I can help everybody in the way that they feel that they're comfortable being helped.
Okay. Now, if I were investing money into your campaign, I'm going to share with you a couple things personally. Someone who's experienced a traumatic eating disorder and being sexually abused in college, I can definitely relate to your message more so than other people who obviously haven't gone through these things. So I'm
Yes.
somebody who's a potential person to invest. So putting things aside, I'm going to be listening in to see how well we can actually use these words that inspire you, and to use your voice in a way that will attract someone like me who has been through these things and who makes me feel inspired and compelled to donate right away on your fundraising campaign. So I'm getting myself prepared to feel that now. And as I'm doing that, what I have for you is I have 4 things that I want you to write down. So
Okay.
I've created 4 little dots on my page, and what we're going to do is we're going to segment your video, and then we're gonna try to really internalize this using keywords, and it's part of the voice asana practice that we're going to do. It's the keyword crunch that I'm going to guide you through, and it's going to be fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. So
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. So I like to start at the end because the last thing, of course, the fourth blip here is we absolutely we want to leave our audience feeling, wow, this woman, she's got it. She's inspiring. She's moving. She makes me feel like wow, I have the chills now just listening to her. And yeah, I want to donate because this is important. So the fourth the fourth little button down here on my list is doing that final connection, the overall message. Basically, we're summing it all up, we're honing it all in, and energetically, we're basically feeling completely at large. We have this at large message because within the message itself, you're going to be using specific messaging that is more nuanced, more
Yep.
specific to different types of audiences and different types of quotes: domestic violence, sexual abuse, eating disorders, and you said bullying too, which is really important for a lot of people who've been bullied. And what I want you to remember is the finale at the end, where we're honing it all in. The energy is really, really high and yet grounded. So all of it is leading up into that ending finale, which I
Yep.
think kind of knowing where we're headed is really powerful, because if we were to start at the beginning, which most people do, they kind of lose sight. And then by the time they get to the end, it's almost like they don't know where they're at. So what I want you to do
Yep.
now,
Which is what happened in that video. So
well,
I
I
really appreciate that you.
yeah,
Yep.
no, of course. So now I want you to open up your arms like a big guy is coming up to hug you, that one of your best friends, like a bear hug. You're opening your arms up
Yep.
really wide. So with your arms open really wide, and your
Okay.
chest kind of lit up, I want you to still now find that grounding with your core. So I want you to sink in just a bit with your core as you're sitting here. And if you want, you can actually stand and actually ground your feet if you're going to be standing while you shoot, which I tend to do different ways depending on the message. But it's up to you. And I feel like this kind of a message, you may want to sit, if you feel in your essence stronger sitting than you do standing, which when I'm standing, I tend to have a faster pace when I speak. When I'm
Yep.
seated, I tend to be more patient with what I'm saying and more,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe
And I
we'll,
felt that because I just stood up and then I sat down and I
right.
completely understand what you're saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So let's then sit down. We're gonna open our arms like a bear hug. I want your palms still facing up, like in the receiving mode, and the elbows kind of a little close into your rib cage. Chest is high, and the core kind of still sinking into now more of that groundedness into your seat. Do you feel that?
Yes.
So now I want you to say hi.
Okay. Hi. Hi.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I want you to feel open from the chest and contracted in the core, and you're gonna now you can take another deep inhale, and when you exhale, really give it your high.
Hi.
Good. That felt really solid, really rock solid. So at the end of the video, there should be this rock solid feeling that cannot be shattered. That's what we must get at the, we're working our way up. We're working our way to that very end of, now is the time to do this, to be a part of this vision, to connect and support compassionately something that you've been through and something that I will not rest until it is completed. Having that kind of energy.
Yep, yep. And I
So
totally feel what you're saying as you're saying it.
nice. So, with that kind of an energy, let's look at where somebody would be who has some money to invest, may or may not want to, and they're waiting to hear what you have to say in your close. Connect again now to that energy of, oh, this is your time. This is the time. This is the mission. This is the vision. I am not going to rest until this is complete, until I see this through. If you're a part of it, you're a part of something big. So what's that energy? What can we relate to? What can we remember energetically? What can we sum that up as energetically?
I just feel light, as in shining bright light,
Mm-hmm.
when I think about that energy and the power and what I'm trying to pull together.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to write down, and you can write down, shining bright light in my power. I think it needs that.
Yep,
So shining a bright light, the energy, the light just kind of transmits and goes out. But when we're in our power, there's this sense of of really confining the power, or condensing the power so strongly.
yep,
So we're really honing it in. So shining bright light in my power. So when we're tuning into the energy of shining bright light in my power, what's one word, if we were to say this is the voice that I'm going to use? What kind of voice would that be? It's not a teacher voice. It's not a presentation voice. It's not a friend voice. What kind of voice would that be? It may not even be an activist voice. Does anything specifically come up?
strong.
Okay,
Strong comes to my mind, yeah.
good. So write that down, strong voice. Good. So that's number 4, and obviously I'm going to come back to that in a bit. Now let's go number 1, number 2, and number 3. So number 3, segmenting out your video and the presentation itself overall, in the third segment of this video, there should be specific key facts as to why I would want to invest into this. Specific key facts, and then in quotes, I'm actually putting for me, meaning for your audience. So in the third segment, the fourth one is again that global voice, the global strong voice.
Yep.
The third one, we're not quite honing in this global, big, strong voice. The third one, we actually have to get real specific with key facts and benefits.
Yes.
Okay.
And for the specific crowdfunding platform, they require 3 level of rewards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I would be listing out the levels of rewards for each contribution level.
Okay, perfect.
Yes?
Perfect.
Okay.
So when we're listing out the levels of rewards, that's cool because it's a benefit for them. It's a benefit for me. If I buy into it, there's a benefit for me that I get something in return. And obviously, when a lot of people donate money, they don't always have to get something, but it's important
Yeah.
to remind them that there's a value here. So we're going to, in the third segment, we're going to connect to the value of what they're receiving. So that's
Perfect.
good. Now, if we were to connotate a voice to it, and it's not going to be a power voice, so let's kind of check in now as to some of the value that somebody would receive by donating. What kind of a voice would that sound like?
Informative,
Mm-hmm.
sort of
What about educational?
connecting, educational. Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yes, that's perfect. Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay. So if you're in your educational voice, give me a sample and I'll kind of guide you through this a little bit more deeply in a moment. But give me your first shot at what it would sound like to say one of your rewards in an educational voice.
Okay. I'm just having a look at my rewards so that
Mm-hmm.
I can maybe do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, now I'm getting shy. All right, I can do this. Okay, so I've obviously just been talking about my story,
Mm-hmm.
and then the third segment, I'm going into would I be asking them for their support or do that at the end?
I'm gonna get into that in a moment. So what when we're asking for support, we're not in an educational voice.
Okay, cool.
When we're talking about the third segment here, because I this is going to really help you in compartmentalizing. In yoga,
Yep.
we talk about that in the body, compartmentalizing. We want to compartmentalize all of these so that it's easy for you when you go in front of the video camera and you go to shoot. There's part one, oh right, this is where I connect to this voice. Part two, oh right.
Yep.
So when we're talking about your reward, you said one of the rewards. Let's look at a very simple. You said there's 3 levels. What's the first level?
I've actually decided on 4 levels. So my first level is an ebook that I'll create,
Okay, and what's the second?
a course voucher so that they can use that voucher to trial or do one of my programs.
Okay, I'm writing this down. 1 second. Okay, and then the third one?
The third one is a ticket to our launch event, which is happening the end of November, and the 7 states of change. All the 7 projects are going to be there, and the media, and so they'll get a ticket to that event.
Nice. Okay, and what's the fourth?
The fourth would be an equity privilege, so what I talked about earlier
Mm-hmm.
about tapping
Great,
into that higher level. Yep.
great. And what's the price range for the fourth one?
I would suggest that, and I haven't decided on figures yet for these levels, but
Mm-hmm.
I would think it would have to be at least $1,000 for the equity privilege level.
1,000 plus, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you who are tuning in and listening, what we're doing now is we're going through Lennita's message. We're actually getting very deeply connected to her message so that when she goes on video and starts to produce her crowdfunding video to get the highest leverage that she can, fundraising, and also to keep fulfilling her vision and to get the support she needs, we're now going through and segmenting out her video within 4 parts so that she doesn't come across on video stale, generic, disconnected. It's the very opposite of that. And that's what we're doing here today. So for anyone who, like Lennita had said, she got a little shy here when she started demonstrating her voice, which we haven't gotten into yet. Yeah, a lot of you out there are probably thinking, well, I don't know how to go on video, or why would I go on video with what I'm doing now? And the key of actually what we do here of helping and coaching people on video is to create much more connection with what you do in your business, especially when you're talking about having an online presence or leading people in your offline business. we must be able to connect our message to our audience using video in the highest leveraging way, connecting to the power and potency of our voice, and also being able to really attract the highest quality people to work with us, to get connected to what we're doing. And as Lennita's working on her message here with the crowdfunding video, it's not going to stop here. That's not the only video that she'll ever be doing. The process I'm taking her on now is actually a process that she can still follow in other videos and programs and processes she creates. This is the same process. We break it up into these 4 segments. What I'm doing is personally guiding Lennita and helping her through her voice and her messaging, while personally making sure that it's obviously efficient and effective for her. This is what we do at our school, personally with you. So back to the 3 benefits. I'm going to actually this is the easiest one, the ticket to the launch event. So that's the easiest one to sell to people because it's obvious
Yep.
what it is. People, when you talk about it, they'll know what it is, and you know what it is. So in an educational voice, how can you tell me, Robyn, what this 3rd level is, the ticket to the launch event? So tell me, what do I get with the 3rd level in an educational voice?
With the 3rd level of commitment, you would get a ticket to our launch event, which is happening on the 28th of November. And you get to come along and be part of celebrating the journey with us. The media will be there, so it's going to be quite a big event. And yeah, I don't know what to say.
So what if we
But is that
what if we really sharpen this up a bit? So I want you to consider talking to me as a friend and talking to me as an educator.
okay?
There you go. Yeah. So with the 3rd
It's quite
option,
interesting, this process, because
yeah.
I've considered myself to teach quite a bit in my life, but when you're asking me to draw on that particular voice, it's a really interesting process. So I'm struggling a bit, but I so appreciate this because it's very, very important. And yeah. Anyway,
You're not actually, just to let you know, you're not struggling any more than anyone else that I've ever worked on with this. So there's a lot more struggling. When I think of somebody struggling on this, there's a lot of resistance. You don't have resistance. So don't worry about that. It's just the process of you kind of shifting the mindset of being very mindful of
yes.
how you're using your voice.
And it's amazing because I've gotten stronger and stronger in my voice by doing the video practices
Mhm.
and the 30-day video challenge with Laurie. And so, yeah, I just feel almost stuck in that strong voice.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, how do I shift that to make it
I want you
that
to, I want you to,
slightly not as,
yeah, I want you to get in your head just for a minute.
okay,
When we're on video, because I've noticed myself doing this too, when I get excited. When I get excited, my voice goes up.
yes,
Now, when our voice goes up, it sounds to other people often, especially on a video, that we're either asking a question or
yeah,
we're not quite sure what we're saying.
yes, yeah,
So, in our educational voice, we have to use that kind of tone very rarely when we're using an educational voice. So I know that you want it to be exciting because I think when we're talking about these benefits, I think there's a way that it has to be exciting. Like there needs to be that
yeah, yeah,
excitement. So there's an
but still
ebook.
keep that sort of level tone as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, okay,
And I want to work on the variance of your voice in this 3rd segment for a minute. And I'm not going to focus with you on exactly what to say. I want to focus
yeah,
more on the internal of how you're using your vocals, which of course when we're honing that in effectively, what we say naturally is much more effective and succinct.
yeah.
So the third level is a ticket to the launch event in November. So share with me a really simple way of saying that in your own words. And say it just a little bit with a little bit more punchiness.
Okay. Your third level of commitment is a ticket to our launch event in November. Sorry, can I do that
Mm.
again?
Yeah, so that's why
Okay.
slow it down just for now.
Yeah.
The third level, and you could use a little bit of excitement.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The third level of your commitment is a ticket to our launch event in November on the 28th.
Beautiful. That's it. Yes.
Okay.
How'd that feel?
Really good. Scary, but really good.
Now do it again. This time have a little bit more. I want you to feel a little bit more settled in your body because I felt a little. I felt a little bit in your
Anxiety.
chest and your yeah. So now
Yeah.
settle it down a bit. You've already got it down, and say it another way. Nobody's judging you. Try it one more
Your
time.
third level, sorry.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Your third level of commitment is a ticket to our fabulous launch event on the 28th of November.
That's great.
Awesome.
That's beautiful. How does that feel?
It feels good. And obviously, the more I practice it, and the goal after this would be to shoot, 3 or 4 more, maybe 10 more draft videos to really get comfortable with those different voices. And then I've
Absolutely.
got the film producer to help me to shoot the final one.
Awesome. So we've nailed the voice for the third. The second voice, as you said, is the personal story. So in the personal story, I'm thinking more of a supportive voice, more of a caring voice. What kind of voice can we connotate now to the personal story where you've undergone these traumatic experiences, domestic violence, sexual abuse, rape, eating disorders, bullying? What is a voice that we can connotate to that message?
I would like it to be inspiring.
Good.
So, which is also supportive. You know, the more I tell my story, the more people are telling me that they're inspired by me. So I really want to keep drawing on that. I want to inspire change. I want to inspire people that are going through what I've been through, that they can do and be anything they want to be.
Okay, so let's use that. I want to inspire people that they can do and be whatever they want to be. So give me a little bit more of that inspiring voice with how you're saying it. And keep it simple. You can close your
Okay.
eyes and just and I actually now with the inspiring voice, what we get to use now is more breath, more of that airiness with what you're saying.
Okay, perfect. I want to inspire women to feel that they can be all they want to be, that they can find their life purpose and transcend their past and brighten their future.
Beautiful. How about everything stays the same, but at the end, I want you to now envision somebody hanging on to every bit of your words and your voice, your future. I want to feel future as if it's this transcending vibrational ripple in the ocean. So
Okay.
so how can we give that poignantness to the end of your voice there? That ripple, that
Brighten
transcending.
your future. Okay. Brighten your future. Brighten your future. I just need to have you pop inside of me for to shoot the video. No. Okay. Um, Transcend your past and brighten your future. Future.
So with future, I like it all. Future, get a little grounded,
Future.
like we're
Future.
playing in a we're planting seeds, and we're planting the future for the future. We're planting our seeds for the future, and
Yep.
we're envisioning these beautiful trees blossoming one day, giving fruit and flowers and making bees happy. And we're playing in the dirt right now, and in feeling our future.
Okay. Transcend your past and brighten your future. Future. You've got that American R, and I'm trying to do
Ah,
the R the way, and it's
I like
a
yours.
little.
So let's now do a little keyword crunch since I promised, and then we'll move
Okay.
on to the first one because I think you've got the inspiring voice, and I don't want to get caught up in the headspace of you needing it to be perfect. So with
Yep.
keyword
Awesome.
crunch, what I'm going to have you do is you're going to take a deep breath, you're going to say the word future, and then I want you to intentionally speak from an internal space. What we're going to do is we're going to say other words that are resonating of the same value, the same resonance and vibration as future. So, for example, if I were to say resonance, vibration, connection, empathy, I'm using words that to me are the same. It's connecting me to the same pattern and path of that
Yep.
energy. So I want you to take a little bit more time than that. And I want you to now just settle in again, really ground yourself, close your eyes. We're going to take a deep inhale. And the first word you're going to say is future. And then you're going to just keep saying words that just feel like that vibration, that energy.
Future, empathy, healing, connection, empowerment, community, women leading women, women connecting, supporting, unconditional love.
That's it. That's the voice. That's it.
Awesome. That's really powerful. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you're on video, I just got the chills. What you want to do is you want to actually come from that space.
Yep. Yep.
So we're not in a headspace. We're actually coming from a visceral place of connecting internally to what we're actually doing, our message. Oh, I just feel it in my veins. It's just flowing through me, what you're saying.
Yep.
So that's the
Thank you so
voice.
much.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
welcome. I like how in gratitude you are. So it's powerful when when you said supporting, it was just the most I was just wow. I just felt so much from you with you saying just that word. I felt so much. So when you say what you're saying on the video, rather than overdoing it by giving them too much, we actually can use our voice in a way that gives them enough to feel supporting, to feel that.
Yes. And
So,
I felt it as well, and I
mhm,
connected to it, and I was closing my eyes, and I just that energy, and I'm so
mhm,
getting what you're saying, and it's
mhm.
just absolutely incredible. Thank you.
I think there is no struggle here. So you're actually you're doing famously well. I think the only thing to practice is a couple things here is when we're looking at these 4 points, and I'm going to go to the first one in a second, which is actually the hardest one. But when we're doing these segments, you're on video and you're reminding yourself, oh right, part one is this, two is this, three is this, four is this. The,
Yep.
the thing that we'll remind ourselves in each segment is to connect again to that voice. So when we're in segment four, we know that there's actually, we're using more breath, we're using more power, more influence with the fourth part. We're getting really
Yep.
strong, really big. That's where you get to give it all. You really get to give your all on that last one. In the third
Yes. Yep.
segment, you hit it really well that last time, where you're connecting to this education. There's not too much huggy, feely kind of energy
Yeah.
as in the second one. In the second segment of the video, there's more of this touchy feely, inspiring kind of an ooze of gushy emotion that you're giving with your story. And
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
what you just gave me with supporting.
Yeah.
That's this, oh wow. She's gone through a lot, and I know she's somebody that could help a lot of women.
That's perfect.
So when we're in our head thinking the only thing I want you to focus on in your head is, okay, fourth, here it is. This is the grand finale. It's the big, strong global voice.
Yep.
The third segment, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Here I am. My four benefits, my four levels of rewards here. I'm connecting to my educational voice. The second segment, my personal story. I'm connecting to my trauma, but in a real supportive way. Now, in the first segment, I kind of feel like you know where I'm headed, but the first segment is the facts.
Yep.
We want to get them hooked on why this message must be shared. So I
Absolutely.
I feel like the first segment is your activism voice, your activist voice, and yet at the
Yep.
same time, the tricky thing here is that there needs to be just a hint, because we're moving into the personal story and we don't want to lose people who are just
Yeah.
in their headspace. So there's got to be a
Yep.
way for you to use these facts. And I heard you in the video, awesome facts. However, we've got to use this activist voice, which you use perfectly, but there needs to be just a hint and tinge of that compassion voice too.
Yep. Yep.
So your activist voice is, 34 million women face, that's the activist voice. Like, this is so
Yep.
important and this is real and I know how to help people. This is your activist voice. So let's share a little bit.
Yes.
What's something that we could say, a word or a phrase that we can just use to practice really quickly on this voice? Because this is the hardest one. What's something really simple?
1 million Australian children live with domestic violence in their homes.
Okay. Okay, so 1 million Australian children live with domestic violence in their homes. So, in their
Yep.
homes, can we add a
Yep.
little bit of that? Like, 1 million Australian children live with domestic violence in their homes.
That's beautiful. Okay. 1 million Australian children live with domestic violence in their homes.
So, in their homes, I want you to feel that. I want you to actually take a step, like, I want you to almost like implode. Like, oh, this is devastating.
1 million Australian children live with domestic violence in their homes.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Wow.
You
What did that feel like?
Okay. A little bit uncomfortable.
It's intense.
It is for sure.
So,
But I so get what you're saying, and that when I did that draft, I was definitely in that activist and the importance of of changing that in those couple of sentences where you can make that connection, and that's just
And
so
just a few
powerful.
words, yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be the entire video because you want to feel really comfortable. I'm speaking now in a comfortable voice, but
yeah,
when I have something important to say, I say it in an important way when I know.
yes,
So when we use our voice, what we did today was we connected to these voices. So let's, before we finish up, your activist meets compassion voice. What is that called? That what do you want to call that? What we just did now?
I think that activist compassion,
Okay.
activist, definitely those resonate.
Okay, good. So I want you to keep it real for you because if you keep it real, it's gonna be felt by your audience, by the viewers. So we have to remember that there's got to be this element of emotion because you know that the people who are going to be most willing to back you up are the ones who have felt what you felt.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I'm compelled to get you to that second stage of your personal story really quickly. So I want you to work on this I want you to work on the first part of really getting succinct as possible so that we can move into your personal story kind of quickly. Not
Yep.
fast, but swiftly. So your homework
So,
assignment. Uh-huh.
yep, perfect. Make, okay, awesome.
So the next thing that I'd like to listen in is I'm not so tuned in now to having this entire video be a perfect end result. It's more about like really getting in touch with these four segments because they're so unique in their own way.
Yes, they are definitely.
And the overall energy is you must complete this vision in your lifetime. And you're looking for people, real people out there who really feel what you feel and what you've gone through and who want to support you.
Yes.
So that's the overall energy that we're sharing. That's the holistic view. So in the first segment, that's what we've got to share because if we can bleed that into the first segment, that's what they're going to be led by. That's what they're going to be listening for throughout the entire video.
Yep, I completely get what you're saying.
So the thing now just to practice really simply before we get into the depths of exactly what you're saying in these four segments, the third one, of course, is the easiest. But you know your personal story too. That's going to take a little bit more finesse. But what you did in this video specifically was my favorite. When you did tell your personal story, I was most compelled by that part of the video. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
saying, if we can get to that piece sooner than not, you're going to really,
Yep.
yeah. So
Draw
let's
them. Yeah.
draw them in, right? So let's work on the first part, bleeding the activist voice with the compassion voice, using the facts and really letting them know that something else is coming.
Okay.
So you
Um,
have a little bit of work to do with refining that first initial head on.
definitely. And
Yeah.
I'm doing phase two, which is all the research stuff. So I think that I'm really going to find that, succinct wording once I do that research.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll be working over the weekend to really get better down in that research and find those facts that are really just going to stand out and that I can use in that way.
Think of it like 4 to 5 sentences in total for the first segment.
Yep, perfect.
And the sixth sentence should move into the personal effect of why you've shared all of these facts leads into then the personal story. So it's leading us in. So rather than it feeling like here's the facts, here's my story, here are the rewards, here's what to do,
Yeah.
rather than it feeling like
Yeah.
shoddy and disjointed.
Yep.
We're leading it in and we're using our voice. So the activist meets compassion leads into real strong compassion inspiring. The inspiring leads into educational and giving them value. And the
Yep.
value leads into this is important, and you will receive, not only you will receive, but the world will receive value. And how will it receive value? In this way. So
Yep.
so we're energetically now tuning into the global view of it, the whole view. And I think you kind of can grasp now what that feels like energetically.
Definitely. This has just been absolutely priceless. I'm so, so grateful and sitting in awe.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Let's take a final breath together and close the energy for tonight. Beautiful. I
Thank you.
I'm so inspired. You're so welcome. I'm so inspired by your story, and I know that you have certain deadlines to meet for this specific vision, yet there's other work that you and I will be doing in the branding group. So I will take my time with you in exploring different types of ways to share your message on video and to get the message out to different audiences as well, and to make sure that what you produce is really quality for you, so that you're really making this happen. And I think a community, an online community, is really powerful. So I'm really inspired. Obviously, like I mentioned, someone who's gone through eating disorders in my past and been through a lot of different inner struggles. I definitely am inspired to help you to make sure that you're helping as many women as possible.
Thank you so much, Robyn. It just absolutely means the world. And coming from no support my whole life to this last couple of months, and the support of this school and you and Mike, and just how much people are getting behind me. It's just so overwhelming at times, and I'm just so grateful and inspired by all of you as well. Just absolutely mind-blowing. Thank
Hmm.
you, thank you, thank you.
I'm so happy you're here and you're so welcome. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And
You too.
whenever you want to share more with me about the next step, if you want to shoot a quick video, that would be really
Yep.
helpful, or an audio is
Okay,
fine
perfect.
with me. It doesn't have to be video. And you can share that in the master's program group and we'll go from
Okay,
there.
awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome,
Have a good
Lennita.
night.
You too.
Good
Bye for
night.
now.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, everyone. Well, you are tuning in to a live eavesdropping session on working with Lennita and me. I say Lynetta, I don't know why, Lennita. And what we're doing here is getting in touch with your message, your voice. As you heard Lennita share, that there's this element of feeling uncomfortable at times working through things that she's not used to. But as you heard through this coaching practice and me guiding her in a safe place, using what I have, what I'm great at, I can help people like Lennita and others who have strong, inspiring messages to share. Something that I'm inspired to do is to help people in this way, personally and intimately. You don't have to have an eating disorder or have gone through a traumatic experience to work with me or our school, but you do have to have some kind of a meaningful message, a meaningful intention, something meaningful to share with the world, something that you feel is pertinent to you, that you must get through in your life, something that you must share and express. So if you feel like this is for you and you haven't yet met with me, or you're somebody who is maybe teetering between getting the support you need or not, now would be a great time to reach out to me if you haven't. And you can find me on your email, the same email that brought you here to this session. You can email back the support email you have Mike Klingler's email perhaps, or my email, Robyn, ROBYN, at schoolofonlinebusiness.com. So I'm looking to support 11 women this month, and we already have some people in this group. So we're working with a group of 11 this month in bringing your meaningful messages forward to share your vision with the world, people who truly want to make your difference. And you must get that out there in your lifetime, and you want the support in doing so. You're welcome to personally email me or the support email, which goes to our team, and they will forward it over to me, and we'll be in connection. And if you do email me the best times, including your time zone to reach me. Again, Robyn, ROBYN. I look forward to serving you in every way that I possibly can. Bye for now.